boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes.
Okay.
Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about.
Yeah.
Did Jay reach out yet?
Nah, Bob. He ghosting.
One of my best friends, she's not here today. She was human trafficked by Naomi Campbell. And Naomi is also Diddy's the godmother. So she started meeting with all these famous people, and they connected her with certain people. And then all of a sudden she's at these parties, and I see she's doing drugs and getting out of control. And eventually I had to start rescuing her from parties, and then a few of the times I had to rescue her from Naomi Campbell's apartment, sleep over, and then I would...
This is a direct character assassination. I've always said that I'm not a saint, that I am a work in progress, but I will not be held hostage by my past. What he's done is indefensible.
I think that in 5 years people will still be saying, she's a... I hope so. I hope they do.
Something like, you'll never be me, don't ever think that you'll be me, and something like that.
I said that?
Yes.
I can't think, that's something, I'm not that, I'm very much in the, I'm very much, I know the person that I am, and I'm not someone to go and give myself away and say that to anybody. I've never said that in my life. So, but if that's what you remember, I accept that, but it's not, doesn't sound like me.
Shorten your dress. They would never
to me.
They would never make you walk in a dress
not on my
that
level,
much
Nicole.
longer.
You never will be on my level. Do not compare yourself to
Naomi Campbell is finally going down, and this time the whispers aren't coming from random blogs or jealous insiders. The bombshell? The alleged receipts tying her to Diddy and Epstein were supposedly handed over by Diddy himself. Yes, the same Diddy she's laughed with at parties, posed with on red carpets, toasted champagne with at exclusive after-hours freak-offs. And suddenly, the supermodel who floated above scandal for decades is staring at a storm she can't strut away from. For years, people rolled their eyes and said, that's just Naomi being Naomi. The diva tantrums, the flying phones, the assistants trembling in courtrooms. But this isn't a phone-throwing headline. This is federal-level chaos. Word on the curb is that behind the designer gowns and fake humanitarian smiles was a pipeline, allegedly recruiting young women from Africa under the glittering promise of modeling careers, only for them to land in Europe and disappear into shadows no runway ever saw. And the most chilling rumor? Not all of them were adults. Let that sink in. Because when the Epstein files dropped weeks ago and exposed a parade of powerful names, guess whose was right there again? Naomi. Of course it was Naomi. If there's one thing she's consistent about, it's standing beside men who later explode into scandal, then acting shocked like she just met them at brunch yesterday. The DOJ documents reportedly place her on Epstein's island. Her name on flight logs. 5 trips on the Lolita Express between 2001 and 2003. 2 departures from the U.S. Virgin Islands, home to Epstein's infamous playground. Flights heading towards Sao Paulo, and yet she claims she didn't even know him until her ex Flavio Briatore introduced them at her 31st birthday party in 2001. A casual introduction, she says, just vibes, just networking. But networking doesn't usually include private jets to private islands owned by convicted predators. And people are no longer buying the I didn't know routine. Not when emails reportedly suggest coordination. Not when insiders whisper that she sounded desperate to stay in Epstein's orbit. Desperate. Naomi Campbell, the woman who built an empire off icy confidence, allegedly scrambling behind the scenes. It doesn't match the brand, but the brand has cracks.
I was introduced to him on my 31st birthday by my ex-boyfriend Flavio. He was always front and center at Victoria's Secret shows.
Did you suspect what he was doing?
No. And what he's done is indefensible. And when I heard of what he'd done, it sickened me to my stomach, just like everybody else. Because I've had my fair share of predators. And thank God that I had good people around me that protected me from this. I mean, right now I stand with the victims. I can't, they're scarred for life.
Nobody was shocked when she denied everything. That's the playbook. Smile, deny, deflect, repeat. She did it with Harvey Weinstein. She did it with Charles Taylor. She did it with every questionable billionaire who hovered too close. And every time, somehow, she slipped through untouched while the men around her burned. But this time feels different because the documents didn't just list her name. They allegedly included emails that suggest she and Epstein were coordinating plans. Coordinating. And when a model recently came forward accusing Naomi of lying about her involvement, it wasn't brushed off as jealousy. It felt like a crack in the fortress.
So one of my best friends, she's not here today. She was human trafficked, Naomi Campbell. And Naomi is also Diddy's the godmother. So she started meeting with all these famous people, and they connected her with certain people. And then all of a sudden she's at these parties, and I see she's doing drugs and getting out of control. And eventually I had to start rescuing her from parties, and then a few of the times I had to rescue her from Naomi Campbell's apartment, sleep over, and then I would pick her up and bring her to her apartment because she was so high on drugs.
What kind of drugs was she doing?
Everything. She had they provide the drug for you. So she would open her purse and it would just be everything, whatever you wanted. It was like a pharmacy.
Who would open the purse?
Oh, she would. Oh, she's like, what do you need, Babs? Do you need anything? I would say, I don't do anything. Oh.
Old recruitment videos resurfaced. Naomi smiling warmly, presenting modeling opportunities to young African women. A dream, she sold it as. Europe, runways, glamour. But critics are asking a brutal question now. Why did so many of those girls never walk a single runway? Where did they go? Why are there whispers instead of portfolios? Even her Kenya charity clips, once praised as generous, are being re-examined under a microscope of suspicion. Was it philanthropy or a front? Because when patterns repeat, people start connecting dots, and the dots get darker.
You kind of she gets out of it.
Well, she gets money. When you bring models or people that can easily be manipulated, you get funded. You get funded. She owns. How does she own an island being a supermodel?
I didn't know she owns an island.
Yeah, she owns an island. But this is crime scene investigation.
Yeah.
But it opens your eyes to things that you never even thought of, and I connect all the dots.
Then came Elsa Majimbo, 19 years old, bright, funny, rising. She allegedly claimed Naomi pulled her into her circle and introduced her to wealthy men, suddenly pushing her toward dating arrangements she never signed up for. When Elsa refused, suddenly doors started closing. Industry whispers, blackballing. A teenager allegedly iced out for not playing along. And if that story is even half true, it paints Naomi not as a passive bystander, but as a gatekeeper, a recruiter, a fixer. But let's rewind, because Naomi's history with dangerous men didn't start with Epstein or Diddy. It goes back to blood diamonds and warlords. In 2010, she was dragged into court to testify against Charles Taylor, the former Liberian president accused of arming rebels who mutilated civilians during Sierra Leone's civil war. Rebels who cut off hands, legs, entire futures. And right in the middle of that horror, diamonds. Dirty-looking pebbles, Naomi called them in court. Pebbles that two random men supposedly handed her in the middle of the night while she was staying at Nelson Mandela's house. She claimed she didn't ask questions, claimed she donated them to charity. But her former assistant Carol White and actress Mia Farrow told a different story. They alleged Naomi knew exactly where those diamonds came from, that she was thrilled, showing them off, giddy. The same Naomi who stormed out of interviews when first asked about it. The same Naomi who insisted she wasn't there to talk about diamonds. The pattern? Deny until cornered. Then soften the truth just enough to survive. And let's not forget the assault convictions. Between 1998 and 2009, she was convicted 11 times for physically attacking employees. 11. Assistants choked, phones thrown, lawsuits flying. Each incident brushed off as diva drama. But what if the rage was always a symptom of something deeper, of someone used to power without consequences? Then there's the charity scandal. Millions donated, allegedly siphoned into luxury trips, designer splurges, private jets. A 25-bedroom eco-mansion shaped like the Eye of Horus reportedly gifted by Russian billionaire Vladislav Doronin. A futuristic island compound so remote people now whisper it could have been the perfect blind spot for trafficking routes. The last place feds would check. Coincidence? Maybe. But coincidences keep piling up around her like couture gowns in a walk-in closet. And now there are whispers of prison phone calls. Diddy allegedly talking from behind bars. Conversations that supposedly mention Naomi in ways ways that make investigators lean forward. The details aren't public, not yet, but insiders claim the tone is incriminating. And suddenly, every party photo looks suspicious. Every birthday celebration feels loaded. She attended his 54th birthday in London. His album release parties, the infamous after parties where freak-offs reportedly spiraled until sunrise. And remember when Diddy flew to London with Young Miami just to surprise Naomi with a cake for her PhD? Diddy doesn't cross oceans for casual friends, not unless there's loyalty or leverage. People are now speculating she wasn't just a guest in his world. They're whispering the word madam, allegedly providing women, allegedly orchestrating introductions, allegedly bridging fashion, fame, and something far darker. And when you zoom out, you see the pattern, Epstein, Charles Taylor, Weinstein, Deronin, Diddy, a carousel of powerful men